I actually used this video footage in another one of my videos 1 or 2 days ago, but you might not have known exactly what you were looking at. So let me explain. What you are looking at right here is Canelo Alvarez. Oh yeah, that's right. Canelo Alvarez is a duck. And he's not only a duck, but he's the biggest duck in boxing right now. The only contender out there would be Carl Frampton, maybe. Well, other than Carl Frampton, you got to say that Canelo Alvarez is the biggest duck in boxing. And he's a shameless duck. In the post-fight interview, following his devastating knockout victory over Amir, Canelo was obviously in front of all his fans and his supporters, the Mexican people, millions watching worldwide. So when Max Kellerman put him on the spot and said, when are you going to fight GGG? Are you going to fight him next? Canelo couldn't give him a straight and realistic answer, so he tried to turn it into some joke business. He said, put on the gloves, I'll fight Golovkin right now. He didn't want to look weak in front of his fans when he was put on the spot like that, so he tried to come out with some type of witty retort that would preserve his macho image or what have you, so it won't look like, he's afraid of Golovkin. Now, I've been making videos about this whole Canelo Golovkin situation for a couple years now, long before Canelo ever won a WBC middleweight title from Miguel Cotto. Long ago. The first time I started talking about Canelo and Golovkin was when I read about the sparring session that they had and how Golovkin had seriously hurt Canelo and, had him on wobbly legs in the sparring and was pushing him back and what have you. And he was, from what the sparring reports, and there were at least 2 or 3 of these reports, said he was giving Canelo a working over. Now, I started to believe that Canelo was actually afraid of this guy when it became obvious that he was far too big for 154 pounds. And again, this is before he started doing all the 155-pound catchweight stuff. And I was saying to people in these videos and other places on the internet, Canelo is killing himself to make 154, but he's staying down there because he's scared of Triple G. And when I first started saying this, because I had noticed the body language and what have you of Canelo, whenever he'd be asked about Triple G. And the first time people started talking to Canelo about Triple G, it wasn't, people asking him when are you going to fight Triple G, because this is when Canelo was at 154, Triple G was the weight above. So they were just asking Canelo, what do you think about Triple G? And just his body language and the subtle little signs, which I saw, indicated to me that this guy was afraid. And as I say, the whole situation with the weight, why would a guy who's as massive as Canelo at 154 boil himself down, kill himself to the point where he don't have much stamina in a lot of his fights, particularly when he was at 154. He don't have much of a work rate because of the fact that he's so dehydrated. He's drained his body to get down to 154 and he's rehydrating, a day before the fight. Why would he do that? The only reason that somebody would do that is if they are afraid to move up. It's not like the Golovkin fight would not be lucrative. It would. All these excuses Canelo's coming out with are all BS. He's scared to death of this man. And, again, credit to Amir Khan for taking the Canelo fight. But as far as Canelo choosing Khan as an opponent, that was one of the most cowardly and disgraceful things I've ever seen in boxing, certainly for a very long time. Because not only is he fighting at this ridiculous 155 catchweight continuously for a middleweight title, and well, obviously he fought Cotto and, they agreed upon a catchweight for that fight. He's defended against Khan again at a catchweight when Canelo is massively bigger than 155. So not only is he doing it at this ridiculous catch weight, but he's bringing a much smaller fighter up to fight him. And not only a smaller fighter who, even at the lower weights, is known to have a weak chin and very little power. What more cowardly a move could you have made than that? Even for a voluntary defense, for Canelo to do that, that is cowardly. Shocking stuff, people. And I actually quite liked Canelo at 154. You know, I did like him as a fighter. I like his style. I like his combination punching ability. And yeah, I quite liked Canelo. And when people were screaming in the Lara fight that Lara got robbed, I was one of the people who actually thought Canelo did enough to win the fight. I think it was close, but in my opinion, Canelo did enough to win. I think Lara was just running far too much and it was way too negative. He wasn't landing enough clean, effective punches, in my opinion, to offset Canelo's aggression and body punching. But that's neither here nor there. So I'm not someone that's been hating on Canelo from day dot. No, not at all. But as I always say on my channel, no fighter is below praise and no fighter is above criticism. And Canelo, wow. For fighting Khan, he has to come in for loads of criticism. And you saw how massive the size difference was when they were actually in the ring. Those who doubted it, even Khan himself and Virgil Hunter and David Hay and all these people saying that Khan was actually the same size as Canelo or bigger. Complete BS. You saw how they looked side by side in the ring. Canelo was massively bigger. Look at the size of his mouth. Look at the size of his head compared to Khan's. He's just a massively bigger human being. Obviously not taller, but in terms of, you know, his muscle mass, bone structure and everything, he's way bigger than Khan. And as I say, Khan had a weak chin at the lighter weights and not much power, certainly not at welterweight. So moving up to 155 to face a guy who was in the ring, what, over 170 pounds? I didn't see the weight in the ring on the night that HBO normally provide. So if any of you know exactly what Canelo was weighing on the night, I'd be very grateful if you could enlighten me in the comment section below. But either way, you know, way bigger than Khan, naturally bigger, naturally much more powerful. A very cowardly move for Canelo to fight this guy. But since Canelo was in the mood of fighting at catch weights, since he's in the mood to pick on small guys, how about fighting Kell Brook? If he's so scared of GGG, will he vacate the WBC title? I don't know. Will he actually fight anybody legit at middleweight? And I'm talking about real middleweights, not a Miguel Cotto, who he won a title from, but an actual real middleweight. Will he fight anybody? A Billy Joe Saunders, for example? Even Danny Jacobs, if he's that scared of GGG. If you don't want to fight any of those guys, any real middleweights, how about a smaller guy you can fight in Kell Brook? Take a Kell Brook fight. I think Kell Brook versus Canelo would be a much more competitive fight, actually, than Canelo versus Khan. Brook is bigger than Khan naturally, much stronger, hits much harder, has a better chin, and he's not defensively amazing, Kell Brook, but I think he's defensively a bit more competent than Khan is. And I think, you know, a lot of that is down to the fact that he hits a lot harder than Khan. He can get fighters respect. They don't just come after him the way they can come after Khan. But, you know, I don't know. I'm really disappointed in Canelo Alvarez, you know. I understand he's trying to preserve his his market value, and he knows that as soon as he steps in the ring with Golovkin, he's gonna lose. That's what all this BS is all about, people. Anybody who's out there claiming, oh, Canelo's not afraid, this, that, and the other, and talking about A-side and money and all this other nonsense, come on, people. If you can't see that this guy is scared of Golovkin, I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. So, I don't know. Like I say, I'm disappointed in Canelo, man. You need to be a man. You know, there's no shame in losing. Look what Khan did. And, you know, Khan and Virgil Hunter in the post-fight interview, they were right. There's no shame in losing. You know, this is the sport of boxing where the fans want to find out who's the best. So step in the ring with people in your weight class and prove that you're the best, particularly if you're going around saying you're the best. Prove it. If you say you're not afraid, prove it. Forget about catch weights. This is the middleweight division. Stop ducking. All right. Anyway, people, it's your boy Hatman. I'm out.